Assalamu Alaykum. Hotep, Hotep, Hotep. All the gods and goddesses, Neturu, and Toru. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about Kemet and Kemetic Science. Just a little video about it. So, Kemet. What is Kemet? A lot of people don't know that term. So, Kemet is the ancient name of what we would call Egypt nowadays. That land geography of Kemet, of that part of Africa, that land mass of Egypt in Africa is Kemet. And Kemet originates from the Kushite dynasty, so from the southern part of Central Africa or East Africa. And famine and wars and things like that happened in the southern region, and they migrated more north, and that's what made Kemet. So the term Kemet translates to the black land, or the land of the black. And the reason Kemet was called this because it was along the Nile Valley, and the soil was so fertile from being right next to the river that the soil ended up turning black, or a darker brown black type, you know what I'm saying? And when you think of that, you think of melanin. Even in the Quran, it says that Allah made Adam from black mud of the earth. So when we think of black mud, damn, sound like melanin. But anyway, so the black land. And also Kemet was called this because the people of ancient Kemet were black people. They were niggas. They weren't. A lot of people think that ancient Egyptians looked back then how they look nowadays. That's completely false. They looked African. They were Africans. They are Africans. Even the Muslims, the Arabs over there, that continent is still Africa. You know what I'm saying? So over there, that's Africa. Those are Africans. So back then, they, were a little darker skinned. Times have changed, colonization, wars, migration. It changed how things look in the present time. But if you do your due diligence, your research, you'll see that the people of ancient Kemet were melanated people. They weren't how the people in Egypt look nowadays. So, going into something else. Kemetic yoga, because I do Kemetic yoga, so just a little insight on that. So this practice of what we call yoga, it wasn't called yoga back then, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes there's a little back and forth in the yoga world about, well, yoga is an Indian word, it's a Sanskrit word, so how could they be practicing yoga if that word wasn't invented until it came into the Indian tradition? And I'm like, well, that's true, but we can't disacknowledge the mere fact that of whatever we want to call yoga today, the Indian practice of yoga, that practice, we can't disacknowledge the fact that that was practiced in ancient Kemet. The practice goes back so far that it's ingrained into pyramids and hieroglyphs. And I'll do more videos on my channel as I'm getting deeper and more better on my channel. I'll do videos to show people, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, this practice goes back so far to ancient Egypt, you know what I'm saying, to Kemet. This practice has been around for millions of years. It didn't originate in India, how it's kind of proposed to be, especially in the Western yoga world. So it's like, they're like, oh, well, that's yoga and it's Kemet, so that's a hybrid of something. I'm like, no, it's Kemetic yoga. But so the terminology that the ancient Kemites would have called this practice would be Smaitawi. And Smaitawi translates to unification of the upper and lower lands of Kemet, or Egypt, or the unification of the two lands of Kemet. So when we look at the upper and lower lands of Kemet, you know what I'm saying, and through meditation, through rituals, through conscious breathing, through holding postures, eating right, back then they were able to unify these lands and become one again, and become one dynasty again. So when we look at the practice of yoga or any spiritual practice is always a concept of higher and lower self, or heaven and hell. So that concept even originates back then to Smitawi and with Smitawi and Kemet. Yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna end on. Just a little kind of video. You know, I'm gonna get deeper into it, but this is kind of just like a beginner. What is Kemet? Where did Kemet come from? What does Kemet mean? You know, Smitawi is Kemetic yoga. That's a type of practice that I practice. That is my lifestyle. I live the lifestyle of Smitawi. You know, let's see. Let's see what's in my... I'm just gonna show a little bit of notes. So there's a term called Smai Haru Set, and Haru is the son of Osiris, which, like the story of Haru, that's on my page as well. The story of Jesus originates from, or the Trinity, the story of Jesus, the Christ consciousness originates from the story of Asar, Aset, and Haru. So Smai Haru Haset, Smai Haru Haset is a terminology of Trinity in threes, a terminology that represents the unification of the higher and lower lands. There's a lot of terminologies, and the deeper we get into this, y'all, and the more I've gotten deeper into it, you really see like how intellectual and intelligent and smart the ancient Kemetic Sheps were. Ancestors. Sheps is a Kemetic word for ancestors. So the Kemetic Sheps were very intellectual, and they were into how the stars worked, the divine cosmic order of the universe. They were in tune with being in order with the universe. We would call this principle Ma'at, being in balance with the cosmic order through truth, through harmony, through justice, through reciprocity. And when you're in order, when you're in alignment with cosmic nature, there's no way possible that you can't be in alignment with physical nature. You get what I'm saying? So just something to think about. And I ain't gonna get too deep. That's just it's just a little hey y'all video type shit. I'm human just like y'all. Love y'all. Thank you for subscribing to Life Through My Eyes, Spiritual Sciences. I'm a spiritual scientist. Science and spirituality go hand in hand when you're living in a realm of reality. I want that to be known, because sometimes I see a lot of people get misled, or they get into spirituality and yoga, and they're kind of like, oh, this shit is scary or whatever, because they were misled to thinking all this shit is love and light and everything. If you just hear the voice, you hear the spirit, it's gonna happen. No. That's why this is my God. This is my boy Anubis. Anubis is my guy. He's also another son of Osiris, or Asar. Anubis, Anpu. And Anpu, coming straight out of the book, is the deity over discernment and discrimination. So I'm just gonna read one sentence and I'm gonna end it. As the principle of discriminative intellect, Anpu represents the aspirant who has developed a keen understanding of what is real and what is unreal. This form of reason is the most important quality that needs to be developed by an aspirant who is on the path of spiritual discovery. You must be able to know, at least intellectually, what the world is and what is not, what you are and what you are not. So just letting it be known, my teachings come from reality and truth, my personal experience with life and reality, as everybody else should live their life through their personal experience of what life is. Life Through My Eyes. Leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. If you're coming across this video, I love you. Leave a like, comment, follow me on Instagram, tap in with a one-on-one, meditation, breath work, all the things, man. Tap in. Assalamu Alaykum. Ankh, Udja, Seneb. Hotep.